So, what did everyone think of Chapter 3? I'm Captain Vinzer Flynn, and you're listening to Shitfaced in Hyperspace. Tonight's episode coming to you live from the Twi'lek Healing Baths, which is a nice way of saying an intergalactic rub and tug. Though I noticed Grief pronounced it Twi'lek. I'm so used to saying Twi'lek. Like, do I have to adapt now? Because I'm not. To start off, one thing I wanted to comment on that has been used in all the shows so far is how much the shots of space and the planets and the use of the old school screen wipes is really making it feel Star Warsy. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Oh yeah, definitely.
That and all the classic sounds they're using, just like the sounds in the streets, you know, like the droidy sounds and the blaster sounds. It's all very classic.
And even the establishing shots, seeing places like that look similar to what structures we saw in Tatooine, and he went out the airlock.
Yeah, my Discord restarted for some reason. That was weird.
Wrong lever.
Got distracted
Well, at least
by
it wasn't you getting a lightsaber through the chest.
You had to go tell the Twi'leks to come back later.
Yep. And our most recent Star Wars D&D, we almost killed Vinzer off.
How the hell did that happen?
He showed up and crashed the ship, and Amasti dragged him off the ship, and he'd been lightsabered through the chest. He's currently in a back-to-tube.
Oh, damn. Sounds like an adventure hook.
I got left partly in charge.
Yep. Vinzer had a living will. Merida had to take over tactical command.
All right, back to the topic. But yeah, the classic sounds are kind of nice. It definitely lends an air of familiarity.
Yeah, their use of models and puppets definitely makes it feel more like the original trilogy as well.
I love that Baby Yoda's a puppet.
So I actually read about Werner Herzog. He actually lectured Filoni and Favreau because during his scenes, they would do it twice. They would do shots with the puppet, and then they would reshoot it without the puppet with the idea that they would put it in green screen, whichever worked. And he actually refused to shoot without the puppet. He's like, believe in yourself. You put a lot of work into this puppet and it works, and believe in yourself. Don't second guess yourself. Just fucking do it.
That's great. I love that.
I mean, it's a really good idea for the actors, right? To be able to talk at something as opposed to talking at nothing. It's got to be way easier for them. Like, I always remember the stories of like Sir Ian Kellen when they were shooting The Hobbit, and he's like in a room by himself talking to nobody because they're green screening the whole thing.
Yeah, I know that's how Andy Serkis really built his career, is that they were going to CG Gollum in, but the scenes with Andy Serkis just wearing the suit were a lot better than them trying to flail around on the ground without him. So he ended up doing a lot of.
Yeah, he's kind of a pioneer in that field. Didn't I hear he got cast for something Star Wars, or was it something else?
Oh, I could totally believe it.
Oh, you know what it was? I think Vander told me. I think he got cast as Alfred for the new Batman movie.
Okay, I'm in.
Yeah, me too. I'm in.
Although I will maintain that Jeremy Irons as Alfred was part of the best parts of the most recent Batman movies.
He was great. So speaking of Yoda being a puppet, so when the Mando takes him to turn him in and the stormtroopers come out, did anyone else see how Baby Yoda's ears went down?
He did not want to go with them at all.
They very much were using puppy expressions with him, because that's stuff that dogs do when they're happy. The ears are up, and when they're like upset, the ears go down. And so I kind of feel like they're making him cuter that way.
Yeah, he does have the puppy dog eye thing going on.
I think it's just an easy way for the audience to identify with what Baby Yoda's feeling because he can't talk. Like, it's just everybody gets the ears drooping thing because puppies do it all the time.
And even as they're walking in through the slums there, Baby Yoda's looking around, and just as the scene progresses and they get to the Imperials, you get the feeling like, I don't like this, I'm scared.
It's like a dog going to the vet.
It's pretty accurate comparison. Especially how the Werner Herzog's client character and the doctor were so creepily excited when they got it. Like, he comes around the desk. Yes, yes, yes.
How did I not know that Andy Serkis did the voice of Snoke in...
Seriously?
That's what IMDb said.
He did, yeah.
No, it was like, seriously, you didn't know that. Sorry. Andy Serkis is like everybody who is not physically on the movie screen.
I totally didn't bring that up because I didn't realize it. No, of course I didn't realize it.
Want me to edit that part out?
No, it's cool. I mean, maybe I knew at the time, but now it was a surprise to me again. So, perhaps I just forgot, or maybe I never realized.
I didn't know either. And apparently he's going to be actually the director of Venom 2. So,
again, with all that mocap experience.
Anyways, back to the topic at hand.
So, like I mentioned, Baby Yoda gets kind of expressive. He seems scared and stuff, but Pedro Pascal is doing a good job of emoting with that helmet on. The longing looks and the second guessing.
Yeah, his body language is pretty easy to read and identify with.
Yeah, it's super subtle, but yeah, you can exactly see the, like second guessing, and later on, it's like kind of a sadness and anger and just resign, the resignation.
But that's actually really hard to do. Like, being able to act with your voice and how you express something to get your emotion across is kind of the standard way it's done. To be able to do that when people can't see your face, when people we used to refer to it as face acting. So when you can't face act and all you can hear is a voice and maybe like a shrug of a shoulder or a wave of a hand or whatever, he's kicking it at, it's amazing.
Acting. So does anyone else think Favreau and Filoni and them purposely used the Cloud City ice cream bucket as a joke to give him his payment?
Oh, totally.
I think so, for sure.
The whole backstory suddenly makes sense why that guy was only carrying that out of Cloud City.
Yep. Maybe he was smuggling some carbon frozen Tabana gas or something. Who knows?
I'm wondering if that was just a young Grief Karga.
You know what? I'm just looking at it, and I didn't realize it almost could be.
It's only, 7, 8, 10 years between those two?
Yep.
So when the client picks up the ice cream tub, and it's got all that metal in it, but then you remember the Beskar's super light, right? So I'm like, shouldn't he be struggling a little more? Like, oh wait, no, that's not supposed to be really light. He takes the Beskar back to the hideout, and it draws out all the looky-loos. He draws quite a crowd.
First good look at the heavy infantry Mando, and that was a very nice introduction. The way it I like the scene that comes up because he gets right in his face, and they friggin' brawl, and they pull out the knives. And just to skip back to what we said last time when we was fighting the Mudhorn, this time there was a still shot where they're holding the blades at each other's necks, and you could tell it was a vibroblade because you can actually see it vibrating.
Yeah, they did a really good job with that vibration effect, I thought.
I thought that was a cool scene too because it shows, there's interclan fighting all the time with Mandalorians, and this character is Paz Vizsla, the heavy gunner, and thanks to Pedro Pascal, and Kryes told me this, we do know the Mandalorian's name, but we're not going to say it yet. So I don't think they're in the same clan or anything, but it shows Mandalorians, they fight with each other.
Yeah, and it's a good example of what they consider to be honorable too, right? Like their honor is a big thing to them. And if you look back again, mentioning what we talked about last week with the helmets not coming off, becoming a thing with the clan.
Yeah, that's the other big thing that's making a lot of debate come out in the scene is the helmet off thing. So what are your guys' take on it? Is it unique to this clan? Is it just something Mandos are doing now? Or I think they're young guys with a lot to prove, because we already know whether you use Legends canon or new canon, Mandos take their helmets off.
They've said something throughout that, but they're only coming out one at a time. I think by keeping their buckets on and their armor all the time, that it makes it harder to tell who's who, and they don't know how many Mando they really have in the town.
Right, and that makes sense because the heavy gunner makes a point of saying the Empire destroyed their world and they don't have the numbers anymore. They said our strength used to be in numbers.
Yeah, and I definitely I'm along that line. Is I really feel that they're doing it more to hide their numbers somewhat, and then even hey, we don't have to do that anymore.
I think the helmet thing is definitely just a thing they're doing to try to hide from the Empire or whatever.
Yeah, but the gunner, when he talked to him and the armorer was defending, did you ever take your helmet off? That might be like a marriage thing, maybe. Like you don't reveal your face until you're ready, or maybe it's an age thing. But when the heavy went in and insulted him, he grabbed his helmet and tried to rip it off his head, right?
If that is a thing with Mandos about hiding their faces, it might be a new thing, because it's never really come up before. I mean, Mandalorians always wear their helmets around outsiders and the mystique and everything, but like I've never heard of it being a thing where they keep it on all the time around each other. And I know the canon's all over the place with this shit now, but I don't know. I feel like they might be forging some new traditions and directions in this post-Jedi era.
See, I think it's just because of the current situation that they're in, because we see in Rebels that Mandos pull their helmets off all the freaking time.
Yeah, but it is the way.
Yeah, but you know what? And even that fight, trying to pull off the helmet, I think that's just more coincidence. Because I mean, if you see two guys in a hockey fight, the first thing they try to go for, basically, knock the helmet off and then punch him in the face. It's a lot easier to punch someone in the face without a helmet on. So take his goddamn helmet off.
No, I think he went for the underhand grip to take his helmet off, saying he wasn't worthy of it because he sat with it.
I think we're going to find out that it's not all groups of Mando maybe that have to do that. I really do think it was a tradition that kind of started. Because, I mean, and it's not just that they're trying to confuse them if only one of them is coming out at a time. It's kind of almost the opposite, too. Because, I mean, if you were paying attention, you'd know their armor's not identical, right? So, but if you don't see them together, you don't know how many of them there are.
Right.
30.
Yeah.
There could be, so you just know there's always a Mando.
Yeah, and if they're constantly upgrading and making changes to their armor, if you see one day he looks like this, the next day he looks like that, it's like, oh, he just upgraded.
Yeah, even Werner Herzog character, the client, mentioned when he was first giving him the Beskar is that, the Beskar steel is easier to find than Mandos are nowadays.
Right, yeah. And the armor smith makes a point of saying when she's going to forge the new chest plate, it's going to attract attention. And we've seen, every time he enters a bar, everyone looks at him. And when he enters the cantina with the newer armor, everyone really looks at him. It draws every eye in the place. Like a Mando attracts attention.
Yeah, and at this point, he's got both pauldrons, a helmet, a carapace, both gauntlets, although the back of the hand plates are the original, and one of his thigh plates.
Yeah, it's slowly starting to silver up.
Well, she does say that he needs a full overhaul or whatever.
It was also, again, they came back to, make sure the families get some as well.
I like that they're looking like he's very much looking after the foundlings too. But back to the armorer, because I love her. I think that she is clearly the person in charge.
Oh, yeah, I think there was no doubt since the first time.
I like how when the two of them are fighting, she just kind of like sits there and ignores it for a bit, and then finally she stands up as it's getting more serious. And you just kind of imagining it's like that's a mother standing over children, just being like, okay, enough.
Did you notice too that when the Mandalorian he gets a hit on the heavy infantry guy's chest plate, and it sparks, similar to when that guy did it in the first episode to him, saying, okay, maybe this guy's just wearing Durasteel too. He doesn't have his own Beskar, so he's a little extra jealous.
I also found that when they all got angry at each other because he's using Imperial Beskar. Kind of interesting.
He referenced the Purge particularly right there, like making that full canon.
The thing about Beskar, though, is it's all from Mandalore. It's theirs. Maybe it's not like the Imperials made it, so maybe it's just like they had their dirty hands on it, so now it's impure kind of thing.
Yeah, but if I would be happy to have it back in the hands of Mandalorians, right? Because like we see in Rebels that Sabine is like, my armor is 5. When Ezra tells her to, why don't just get rid of the armor so that big super weapon doesn't work, and she's like, this armor is 500 years old. I just reforged so that I could use it. So like, I don't understand why they'd be angry to have it back.
I don't think he was angry to have it back. I think what upset him was what they had to do to get it back, and that meant dealing with Imperials on a friendly side instead of just killing them. I think that's his whole problem.
Oh, that's fair.
Yeah, that makes sense.
I think that's what it is too. They weren't mad about the fact that they had their hands on it. It's just that you had to deal with some crappy people to get it.
And in a way, sort of tarnished himself by just capitulating and giving them what they want, as opposed to taking what is rightfully the man.
Right, and that would be a Mandalorian attitude for sure. Just take it back.
But in the end, he did.
True that.
So we also get a mention of the sigil, which he refuses on basis of honorable kills and whatnot. But she said, you'll get a Mudhorn sigil because that's what you defeated. So we've been kind of doing the dragon symbol right all this time then.
And honestly, it looks cooler than the Mudhorn.
Totally. I keep getting visions of a big silver dragon symbol like they're at the Mythosaur when they go into the forge.
We'll just hang it over your office door.
So the new armor gets forged, and we get a little bit more of the flashback, and we get a better look at that super battle droid. So now I'm dying to know. Clearly, something's going to kill that battle droid and save him. So I'm dying to know what happens next in the flashback.
The internet is completely feeling that, but I gotta say, like, it could be Yoda. It absolutely could be Yoda that saved him. But I don't think that there was not enough recognition when he saw the baby Yoda for him to have known that that's who saved him, Like, it just didn't seem like...
He shot a fellow bounty hunter in the head just to protect it, so there might have been that, wait a sec, you look familiar.
Look at its eyes, come on!
But that also could have been the familiarity of, hey, I was a child who was almost murdered once, but then people rescued me, and I'm about to murder this child.
Yeah, I think you might be right there.
I think he's going to get rescued by a run-of-the-mill Jedi, so he will see the Force in action, and then it'll tickle his memory. I don't think it's going to be Yoda, but I think it'll just be some Jedi who will use his powers, so that's why it seems so familiar to him.
Now, there's a rumor floating out there that it's actually Obi-Wan who rescues him. And then you can make the connection. Obi-Wan knew, I can't remember her name, the Queen of Mandalore before.
Duchess Satine.
Yeah. So there'd be a connection to Mandalorians from a Jedi perspective. So if Obi-Wan was the one to find him, maybe he gave the child over to the Mandalorians.
If Ewan McGregor makes a surprise appearance in the show, the internet will shit its pants.
You know what'll be worse or better? We'll get a 5-second throwaway scene in season 7 of Clone Wars.
Oh, they could tie it in. You never know.
We'll just have a random episode on Mandalore in season 7 of Clone Wars, and it'll just be one of them pulls a kid out of a bunker, and it'll be a complete throwaway that makes no sense in context, and then everybody will be like, "Oh, now we know."
Maybe it'll be Sam Jackson because he's in everything anyway.
Part of it too is we're ballparking his age. Based on what we knew was happening when he was a child, I guess. But it'll be, I don't know. I kind of hope it's not anybody that we've met before. I think it will be somebody I think it could be a Jedi. I think there could be the Force involved and stuff. I don't think it's going to be Yoda or Obi-Wan, as cool as that would be. I just think it's going to be some guy.
Maybe it's Yiddle.
You know what I would love for it to be?
Woman.
Ashley Eckstein as Ahsoka.
Oh, that would be equally pants-shittingly good.
I mean, they have teased a previously only seen an animated character making their silver screen debut,
So
and if it's Filoni, then we all know who his favorite animated character is.
You know what my guess is for that, though? My guess is Rex, because they could get Tamir Morrison to do that.
But Rex has already been retconned to have existed in live action before.
Yeah, but what happened to him post-Jedi?
Oh, that's fair. But this flashback wouldn't be post-Jedi. This flashback is pre-Jedi.
Oh, no, I'm not talking about a flashback. I'm just talking about animated to silver screen in general. That's my guess is Rex.
There you go. Yeah, that's fair. What I'm really interested in is where did this whole "this is the way" thing come from?
everyone needs a catchphrase.
I think it's just new.
Yeah,
We've just never seen the Mandalorians being particularly like religious or whatever.
This is another one of the things, just because we're seeing it now doesn't mean it hasn't always been around. Like, they can retcon whatever they want.
Yeah, because most of the Mandalorians we've seen in the Clone Wars were pre-Vizsla's crew.
and I mean, too, if you've been completely like, if your people have been basically annihilated, scattered to the winds for the most part, you might be a little bit more clannish. You might pick up a little bit of almost cult-like status, because that's the only way you can make yourself survive. So they start instilling things, and then it becomes this is the way.
Yeah, it's a bit of a come to Jesus moment, really. Like, and especially like if the people that like the Mandalorians that have survived because of specific stuff. We don't know kind of how they. I mean, I'm still holding to their young people, and they were kind of foundlings and stuff and brought together, but like it's like when you see stories about people stuck on desert islands and they think that this weird thing that happened to kind of develops into a religion because that was the thing that saved them. You know what I mean?
Something I found interesting from the first episode is that when the armorsmith says about the steel, it's good that it's back with the tribe. She doesn't say clan. She doesn't say house. She says tribe, which leads me to believe that like there's members surviving from several different clans in this hideout. Like, it's not just one.
I agree. Clan implies everyone's part of one family. Tribe implies multiple families.
And with the silver mythosaur, that's a kind of a catch-all symbol for all Mandalorians, right? And that's what they have up on the wall.
So further that scene, sort of right after that, they go to the bar, and he goes to get another bounty. And of course, everybody's looking at him with his new shiny armor, and he's got his problems with grief about how many people were giving fobs because he got jumped. And grief shows that, hey, look, I even made a couple of bars of Beskar.
I'm curious where he would even pawn that for.
Yeah, but in my head, when he grabs the new puck, when they show him the puck, it's like, oh, he's hunting down Weewick.
I know, right? As soon as the Mon Cal came up, I was like, oh, fuck. Abort, you don't want it.
Hey, if you're stuck in carbonite, you can't talk.
Gung Ho always said, using the Starship Troopers meme, we cannot call you if you disable his hand. All right, so he gets this new armor, gets a new job, he returns to his ship, and then he sees the knob is off the shifter, hesitates, does some more in-armor emoting.
Yeah, I mean, we all knew that, he wasn't going to leave that baby. We didn't know how, like, it could be the, hey, he doesn't even turn it in, when it was the, oh, he turns the baby in. Well, he's not going to leave that. And it's like, he's getting in his ship. He's not going to, no, he's not going to leave the baby, right? And then he was like, yeah, okay, that's better. Get out of that fucking ship.
Yeah, the moment he still does it, you're like, yeah. So he heads back into town, and the floating crib is in the dumpster. That's kind of a disturbing image, huh?
Yeah, it made you worried right away that they've already done something disreputable.
He's like,
that is totally what that scene was for. It's just to pluck your heartstrings, being like, oh no, something's happened to the baby.
Like, fuck, they've eaten him already.
On a baby, unless something bad is going to happen to the baby.
I know, right? It's like, we don't need this anymore.
You definitely see the shoulder sag when he sees that.
Followed by the best building breach ever.
Well, we get to
So
see him go
casual.
up on the roof and use the scope, and apparently he's got a tuner on the scope so he can listen to people at distance.
Yeah, and they were very clever. The static covers up right when he says whoever specifically ordered to bring the kid back alive. My guess that's going to be Moff Gideon, but yeah, they're teasing us.
Keeping you guessing, keeping you on your toes.
And again, these guys like the client and Gideon, these Imperial guys, they're old enough that they should, even though the records have all been destroyed, they would remember the Jedi. And probably they'd very likely have known who Master Yoda was. Like, he was pretty famous pre-Empire, really. So, like, they got to be figuring, we can, if it's the same race, he's got to be force sensitive. We could create warriors and bring the Empire back, make a new Darth Vader kind of thing.
Definitely possible. We don't actually see Werner Herzog's character after he breaches the building, I don't think.
No, that's true, yeah.
He's not going to bother himself with those menial tasks. He just wants to know when it's done.
He was in a limo getting the fuck out. Yeah, then begins the big breach, which he shows us all the tools he uses.
I took a lot of notes.
Oh, God.
As did I.
I don't know if anyone counted, but I did, and by my count, he took out 14 stormtroopers.
I'm a big fan of the grappling hook stab in the back.
That was great. My personal favorite is the flamethrower, because he just roasted that motherfucker alive.
That was the probably the most brutal one, I think. I have a friend he's preemptively watching episodes to see if his kid can watch it, and it was you probably shouldn't. This is a lot more violent.
Yeah, this is definitely the most violent episode.
It's PG, but like the far end of PG.
Oh yeah, you don't see blood, but he was cooked.
Yeah, they showed him. He was pretty charred.
I liked the sparrows.
Oh, the whistling birds? You know what? I didn't like them that much.
I understand where Vinzer didn't like them because of it's basically a kind of a Deus Ex Machina. I like them for a couple of reasons. One, it explains what it is because we've seen Fett's had it, so we know what it is now.
Yeah.
Two is it was explained that it's very, very expensive to make, super rare, and he just used it on this child, and that's it. So he won't have this in future episodes. He used it.
I think he's got another. I think he only used one set worth. I think there's still another, but it kind of showed, I like to think anyway, how important it was to him that he was getting his kid, that he was able, like he was that.
Yeah, but I also think he took the time to bend down and put the baby on the floor so he can calibrate. Sort of like the way Iron Man did in his suit in the first Iron Man movie when he was rescuing people. It's like four targets, I'm launching 4 of the whistling birds, and that's all I'm using, right? Like taking them out, one shot here, and he still has more as backup.
Now, a flaw with the whole thing, though, is that if he's still got those whistling birds left, why didn't he use them in the big fight?
Maybe it has to be close quarters.
Now, I think that was the best way for that situation because it let him, there was, it wasn't like the baby was going to catch fire. There wasn't going to be like stuff recoiling or exploding on the baby. This was like, set down Baby Yoda, kill these guys, pick up Baby Yoda, continue on. Neat and tidy. A little splody, but overall, I don't think they would have worked. I mean, they were plot weapons, let's face it, but I don't think they would have worked as well outside anyway.
I mean, don't get me wrong, I thought the whistling birds are really cool. It just seemed to me too much of kind of a cheat code where all the rest of his gear has this aspect of functional believability, right?
And I get that. I just feel like, and again, they were very much like you said, the Deus Ex Machina and very much plot weapons in that this is the thing that, obviously they're going to get used. We heard about them. We watched them be made. We heard, how rare and expensive they were. So clearly we were going to get to see them used. But I think the fact that he weighed the odds and decided to save Baby Yoda with them shows how much value he was putting on the baby too.
Yeah, for sure. And did anybody notice that when he flamethrowered the stormtrooper, the camera went to Baby Yoda's face for a minute? It's always like, God damn, man.
I thought it was going on his face, like, oh, it's nice and toasty warm now.
Mando gets out with the kid and starts to make good his escape, and all the other hunters' fobs start going off in the cantina. Now you wonder why I never joined a bounty hunter guild, because they'll turn on you. I mean, he broke the rules, but the guild's got too many rules.
They seriously need to explain how those work.
John Wick in space.
I'm fine with that.
Yeah, I'm willing to forgive a certain amount of convenience for the story development.
So who set them off? Like Bryce and I were talking about that. Was it the doctor?
He probably called the client and let him know, like Werner Herzog.
I'm guessing him, yeah. High priority bounty. Probably a big pain bounty, which is why it went off so bad. The fight that follows is probably the best Star Wars fight we've ever had that wasn't lightsabers.
Definitely.
Yes.
Yep. That was, it was Mexican standoff, and that's when Jesla looked at me too, and she's like, "This is a Western in space."
It
exactly, a Western.
He hijacked a stagecoach and then threatened the driver.
He did.
Drive.
The slow reveal of the rifle pointing out, and you know what's coming next.
That was so good. I made everybody duck and cover pretty much.
Disintegrations all around.
I want that rifle.
It is a cool rifle.
We just need to get you like a stun baton for your sniper rifle.
Yeah, I was already planning that anyways. So yeah, I definitely want that now. I'm like, that would be handy.
So again, some good helmet emoting from Pedro Pascal when the fight's going against him. He's pinned down and he's looking down at the kid like, I've let you down.
Yeah, I don't know how the hell we're going to get out of this. I'm sorry I got you into it.
And then
I was straight up expecting forced shenanigans.
I know, right? I think we all were, but what happened next we did not see coming, and I think there was a collective squeal around the globe.
Yeah, I actually got off the chair, out of the couch to get closer to the TV to watch what happened next.
It was so good.
And millions of Mandalorians around the world got up and screamed.
Yeah, and if you ever wondered what it looks like when the Flynns drop in, now we know.
Well, sometimes the jetpacks don't work that well, though. So
Nobody rolled a 1 in that scene, thank God.
Or at least Phoenix's jetpack.
usually we look that cool. Once in a while, Phoenix rolls a 1.
And then we get the heavy jump down with the fucking big ass.
You know, I was really prepared to not like that guy, and then totally redeems himself in my eyes.
I think if you go back to the original fight between him and the Mando earlier in the episode, the Mando, by going back and getting the bounty from the Imperials and basically giving a big middle finger to them, he kind of earned the guy's respect back, right?
Yeah, that's true. I didn't really think of that, but yeah.
I'm curious how the rest of the tribe knew the firefight was going on in the first place.
I assume that they kind of watch out for each other anyways, somehow.
And also loud fight on the street.
Oh yeah, there's a fight. Let's go up and see. You know, maybe the whole time the Mando knew they were coming. Maybe he sent them a helmet-to-helmet cam feed like we do.
I'm kind of assuming since he still has to use the scope to look at stuff that he doesn't have much in the helmet.
Yeah,
yet.
that's a stretch theory for sure. He might be sent a radio comm or something, an SOS.
Yeah, for sure. I like to think though that seriously they just heard all the loud noises and went, god damn it.
Either way, it was definitely the most dramatic and exciting entrance and fight I can remember in Star Wars ever. So Greef gets shot and is hilariously enough saved by Beskar Steel.
Throwback to cowboy movies where they get saved by a badge or a buckle or whatever.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Plus, it
Or a
kind of
cigarette
explains
case.
why he showed that he had Beskar earlier in the episode, right? They set that up. It's like, look, even I made money on it. And we saw where.
I would have taken the time to at least grab that shit out of his pocket, because I would be thinking, there's the rest of my armor right there, bitch. Hand it over.
Yeah, I was surprised you didn't do that.
So Kid gets his shift knob toy from the soft-hearted Mandalorian.
Choking hazard!
He was chewing on it, I think, in one scene. It didn't look like it would fit in his mouth.
I had concerns.
Well, wait, he ate that big frog in the first one, though, right? Or the second one, so,
Yeah, he's fine.
He's fine.
I'm also curious where they relocate the clan. Like, will they relocate the clan to wherever he's going conveniently?
And see, this is what's really got me hooked in even more now, because the story up to now, you can kind of figure how it was going to play out for the most part. But where does it go from here? We got 5 episodes to go, and I have no idea what's going to happen next. And I love that.
John Wick in space.
We have no idea where he's going or who he's going to meet next. Well, I mean, we'll meet Cara Dune next, I'm sure, but like I have no clue what's going to happen in the story.
Well, I think that's why we're going to see Cara Dune and stuff now. It's going to be he has to find people he can trust in other places, because he's got to, if he goes back to the Mandalorian as well, people are going to be looking for him. So he's marking them, too. So I don't think he's going to go back to a while.
We also don't know who the overarching bad guy is going to be.
My money's still on Moff Gideon.
Fair.
Oh, and we get the jetpack salute out the window. I didn't think that jetpacks are meant to go that high. That guy looked a little wobbly to me.
Like, it was actually believable jetpack flying. It was cool.
I'm impressed he was able to catch up with the ship, frankly.
Yeah, that's true. Jetpack in game is only like 8 squares around, so not that fast.
Maybe his ship is really shitty.
That too.
He doesn't want to go too fast. He's got a baby on board.
Oh, I just came up with a theory on where he's going. He's going to go back to that desert planet and reprogram IG-11 to bodyguard him.
That'd be cool.
I would like to see more of him, so yes.
You just want more Taika Waititi, though.
Yes, I do. Always. Except he comes back with Viago's voice from What We Do in the Shadows.
Yes!